At the southernmost part of Northampton County, just southeast of Bethlehem, lies the borough of Hellertown. This community of just over 5,800 residents, which straddles Route 412, is home to the famous Lost River Caverns and the northern terminus of the Saucon Rail Trail. But how did Hellertown get its name? For What's in a Name, I'm Mike Flynn. I'm standing in the parking lot of Saucon Valley Square, just off Route 378 in Lower Saucon Township. It's hard to picture now, but somewhere here, under this lot, 280 years ago, stood a log cabin and a large barn of one of the earliest pioneers in the area. His name was Johann Christoph Heller. Born in Feddersheim, Germany, circa 1688, he emigrated to America in 1738 with his wife Veronica and their 6 children. He purchased this land in 1742 from the Penn family after they acquired it from the Lenape Indians 5 years earlier as a result of the infamous walking purchase of 1737. Christopher Heller called his homestead Delay. We are told he picked this spot at the base of the mountain for defense purposes. Christopher Heller is credited for giving Hellertown its name, but the complete story is actually a family affair. Let's travel 3 miles southeast to the borough of Hellertown to see how 2 of his sons were instrumental in the founding of the town. I've arrived at the 35-acre Heller-Wagner gristmill tract on West Walnut Street in Hellertown. It's a beautiful site with a stone wash house, the miller's house, and an old pony bridge. But what really catches the eye is the stone grist mill. Simon Heller, the second son of Christopher, built this mill in the 1760s. Originally a sawmill, it is now home to the Hellertown Historical Society. It is here that I had the pleasure of sitting down with 4 members of the society to gather information about early Hellertown. Chip Wagner, whose ancestors owned the mill for most of its history, organized the meeting. Terry Cuck, a Heller descendant, and Harry Booz and Francis Hudock, lifelong residents of Hellertown, were my guides. Their experiences and depth of knowledge gave me vital information for this piece. According to our experts, Simon, who settled on this land in 1746, 4 years after his father built his log cabin, didn't stay long. In 1764, he sold the mill and moved to Plainfield Township. But his brother Michael, the 3rd son of Christopher, stayed. Less than a mile north of the grist mill in Lower Saucon Township sits the Heller homestead. Under the stewardship of the Saucon Valley Conservancy, the centerpiece of the site is the Michael and Margaret Heller house built in 1751. Michael owned 250 acres here, which included the west side of downtown Hellertown. With 3 sizable Heller homesteads in the area in the mid-18th century, it's not surprising that the residents of the area began to call the village Heller's Town. The early town benefited from the road that cut through it. Known as the King's Road, today's Main Street and Route 412, it ran from Philadelphia to Bethlehem. It is believed that the Liberty Bell came through Hellertown on its way to Allentown in 1777 to save it from capture from the British. A stagecoach line and eventually a railroad continued to bring business and industry to Hellertown, generating an interest to incorporate. On March 26, 1872, that interest became a reality, and Hellertown, the borough, was born. About a mile up Creek Road from the Heller homestead sits the Lime Kiln Cemetery. This picturesque burial ground, a few stone throws from Lehigh's Goodman Stadium, contains 56 legible headstones. Jim Brown, who lives in the adjacent old schoolhouse, graciously gave me a tour. Walking about, I see familiar names with historic roots in the area. Rothrock, Crom, Kaufman, Geisinger, Hilligus, and Guth. But by far, the name that appears the most, 19 total, is Heller. And although the cemetery lies within the Bethlehem city limits, it is perhaps fitting that the borough of Hellertown maintains the grounds where many members of the family that gave it its name rest. For What's in a Name, I'm Mike Flynn in Hellertown.